My 24 male, wife 24 female, told me she might cheat on me if I don't give her enough time/attention once I finish nursing school and start working. It was from a reliable source that she learned that nurses are often taken advantage of, among other things, because of their long hours and lack of time to maintain personal relationships. At the moment, I'm in nursing school, and although I manage my schoolwork and personal life rather well, I don't spend nearly as much time with my mother as I would want, and I don't always feel her support in my endeavors. When I go to school, we have a disagreement because it diverts my focus away from her. She expects my entire attention at all times and becomes irritated when I participate in activities that do not include her in some way. Having to engage with her is a challenge since she has illogical beliefs that have been cultivated by her parents, who do not believe she is responsible for anything she has done. Her poor self-esteem displays itself in her continual monitoring of my phone, whereabouts, and other such behaviors as a result of previous relationships she has had. She has a history of low self-esteem. Her phone is never in my sight, and I have no reason to suspect that she is having an extramarital affair with someone else. She is also easily enraged and loses her cool, which often leads in conflicts and disagreements with others. I was taken aback by one statement she made. Despite the fact that things have significantly improved since we first met, perhaps because I am a patient person, I asked her if she was serious, and she simply replied, "Who knows? Anything can happen. That's why I always advise you to give me time and attention." Our marriage has seen many hardships in the past, but I feel we have lately been doing better than ever. So her statement perplexed me. Was there a certain interpretation you wanted me to draw of that? The reasons for me to leave her exceed the reasons for me to stay with her. And I believe this to be true. However, I really care about her and would like to put up the effort required to make it work rather than taking the easy way out. Edit. The reaction to my article has been overwhelming, and I appreciate everyone's advice. I know it has to be done, and have known it for a long time, and I know I've endured more than anybody else, but it's just so tough for me. I'm not sure what it is that makes me so terrified. My biggest concern is that I would come to regret my decision to leave her. I am fearful of missing her and longing for her return, and I am even afraid of being alone myself. Additionally, I don't want to hurt her. No matter what she's done or said to me, I never want to do any harm to her or to anyone in her presence. Fear is the one thing that keeps me from achieving my goals. I've had to end toxic relationships in the past and move on, but it's still tough for me to do so. She wasn't very helpful and made some inappropriate statements about the circumstances behind my brother's death, which I took very hard, but I didn't want to be alone during those difficult days dealing with my brother's loss. What should I do now? I feel his death has had a huge influence on me, and I honestly don't want to be alone. However, I'm at a loss for what to do. We need marital therapy and individual counseling, and only after that can I claim that I did everything and call it quits on our marriage. That's the only thing I can see that could help us save our marriage. Thank you to everyone who contributed their tales and advice. Believe it or not, I read them all and gleaned something new from each and every one of them. I'll take care of everything that has to be taken care of for you. Story 2. My 28 male, wife, 29 female of 9 years, broke my heart and cheated on me, after all that I put up with in sacrifice for her. I'm completely and utterly broken. Even though I'm not sure if anybody will read this long post, I just need to get it off my chest because I'm completely broken and have no one to talk to. I haven't eaten anything in 3 days and haven't slept much. My wife and I met when we were both 18 years old. In the course of my life, I met and fell in love with a beautiful, generous, and kind person who was full of life and joy. We married and had our first child not long after. I saw right immediately that this free-spirit kind of personality suffers a crisis when confronted with responsibilities, kids, houses, etc. When she was feeling down, she would engage in escapist activities such as smoking, overeating, chatting on her phone all of the time, and so on. As the years went by, I became less judgmental and more accepting of her nature. I even began to gravitate toward her, sitting outside with her and watching her play on her phone, go out with her friends, and so on, until I eventually became her friend. Every day my wife would tell me how amazing I was, how she was madly in love with me, and how, even after 8-9 years of marriage, she would still show both emotional and physical proof of her feelings for me, including weird physical ones, like sniffing my body odor and stuff like that. Overall, we enjoyed a wonderful marriage and a good home life together. As a result, My wife has experimented with many methods throughout the years. She went to college for 4 years, very intensive ones, and dropped out after a year of working in the area. After that, she wanted to be a salesperson, then a nail tech, and finally an online business owner. And during all of those endeavors, she makes little to no money, is constantly on the phone or dealing with something, and is unable to contribute much around the house as a result of her busy schedule. My willingness to take it all was motivated by a desire to see that the partner I had chosen could finish and pursue his aspirations. I didn't want her to live a life of regrets, so I worked extra hard, sometimes 4 jobs at once, to ensure that she could accomplish it all. Nothing, not even a bachelor's degree or special accreditation. I tried to be a C in computer science, but stopped out after half a year because it was too demanding for her company. It was either her or me, and I picked her. Following the closure of her prior company and the celebration of her 30th birthday, I feel she had a personal crisis, which I was completely ignorant of until we had a quarrel 4 weeks ago. During that fight, she exaggerated everything. She wouldn't come home, and when she came, she would sleep at the couch, scream at me when I talked to her, and so on. She blamed everything on her relationship with me, telling me how I didn't let her do everything she wanted while she was doing it, and that she still had to fulfill some responsibilities as a result of our relationship. Yay, the audacity. We went to therapy, and after 2 weeks of her emotionally tormenting me, she opened up about some of the things that had upset her in the relationship, and I considered it and promised myself that I would change for her, which I did, and I'm still working on those things every day. We're still in therapy. After my metamorphosis, she grew more open to me, but I had a strange feeling that something wasn't quite right. As a 30th birthday present, she suggested that I sleep with other females if I wanted to, which was something she would never have agreed to in the previous years. I grew worried because there was this one guy who worked for her delivery company with whom I saw her communicating often on the phone and over text messages, and I became concerned. When I challenged her about it, she answered in kind, "He's the one? Nothing, but it's so hot that you're wishing you were there." Eventually, she came to me and declared that she respects and loves me as a person, as the father of her children, and so on. She couldn't understand why she couldn't love me as a partner again. What is that nonsense? When a relationship ends, one's feelings for the other person do not simply fade away. When she told her friend how much she loved me, it heightened my suspicion that something was wrong. I stooped around her phone and discovered she had deleted all of her conversations with that dude. She was acting discreetly, she was visiting his place, and even though I don't believe they slept, I don't care. I believe that emotional cheating is taking place. That individual came to my house, interacted with my kid, and shook my hand, among other things. I really want to stomp on his head, but I'm holding back since the kids need my assistance. Yesterday, after being on the verge of breaking up with her, giving her space, allowing her to go out whenever she wants, and trying my best to be a better person, I told her she could F herself and leave me alone. I'm done. Cheating is my limit, and she's crossed it. I'm done. Discovering that you've been cheated on is still terrible, and it may seriously damage your self-esteem. Furthermore, we have 3 children who are completely reliant on us. I'm always thinking about them, which is why I've done all I can to salvage our marriage, but I fear that there is no way to repair it now. I believe she has emotionally abused me to the point that I will never be able to trust another woman again.